Yuriorkis Gamboa came out and clarified the Achilles injury that he suffered against Gervonta Davis, and he stated, and I quote, "Just to set the record straight, I know I had snapped my tendon in the second round, but I instructed my corner to tap my ankle so I could continue. I refused to quit, and I wanted to keep fighting through my injury. My corner followed my wishes, heart of a champion," and he obviously threw the Cuban flag in there, and that was the end of the quote. Now, Gamboa definitely represented Cuba how it's supposed to be represented by showing that he has not just enough heart, he has more than enough heart. He has so much of it that he could possibly donate some of it to Chavez Jr. or Ortiz. I mean, the fact that Gamboa is 38 years old, he's way past his prime, he's no longer the same Gamboa, and suffering an injury where Gervonta Davis dropped him in the second round. And credit to Gervonta, it ain't like Gamboa came to the fight with an injury. It was Gervonta that caused the injury to take place. But still, the point remains, which is, it's very impressive for a guy that they claim doesn't have a chin, can't take a punch, and go 12 rounds with a prime Gervonta Davis that knocked out every single opponent except of one. And he has knockout power written all over his punches, either with his right hand or left hand. And he's one of the most sharpest punchers in the game. I mean, Gervonta is so sharp with his offense that he reminds me of Floyd. At least offensively, not defensively. He's so snappy with his punches, is always in perfect form, and you got to keep in mind he's a knockout puncher. So the fact that Gamboa went 12 rounds with a guy like Gervonta Davis, who is a tank, he hit like a tank, and Gervonta was going to the body. It ain't like Gervonta was headhunting all night where Gamboa could evade them shots. He was going to the body, breaking Gamboa down. And it's so impressive for Gamboa to go 12 rounds with a Gervonta Davis. Yes, he got knocked out in the 12th, but it shows what kind of heart Gamboa has. He has too much of it. And for fans to still criticize Gamboa, saying, oh, he was looking to quit, this and that, when he had a sincere injury where he had the legit reason to stop the fight. However, his pride stopped him from doing so and actually decided to continue. And like I said, people will still criticize you either way. If you stop the fight like Rigondeaux did because he had an injury or whatsoever, they're going to call you a quitter. If you fight on like Gamboa did, they still say you were looking to quit. Even though he fought on with an injury while being old. And people always have something to say. It's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. It don't matter what you do. And I just find it funny that Gamboa was actually carried out of the ring, because we all know he was walking with a limp the whole fight, which that means he couldn't have used his footwork to get away from Gervonta. I mean, a guy that was coming to take his head off. And instead of people paying homage and showing respect to Gamboa for having the heart of a champion, they call him a quitter instead. However, who are we kidding? These are the same people that never stepped in the ring, that never got punched, that just are labeled as keyboard warriors. Some of them are so professional with it that they rank so high, we call them general warriors. So you really can't make this up. This is the equivalent of Muhammad Ali breaking his jaw in the second round against Norton and continuing, because obviously nobody had a greater heart than Muhammad Ali. And Gamboa showed that he's in that realm of greatness because he had the talent when he was at 126. I mean, that Gamboa was not called Baby Tyson for nothing. And obviously, Crawford fought a better version, but that wasn't the best version of Gamboa. The best version of Gamboa was at 126 when he was still active. And obviously, nobody wanted the smoke from Martinez to Mikey Garcia because Gamboa was that guy. And obviously, he showed toward the later part of his career that nobody has a bigger heart. So I would like to see Gamboa retire. Maybe a Ryan Garcia payday and test Ryan and see if Gamboa still have enough to give Ryan Garcia trouble or possibly beat him. If not, retire. You already proved yourself time and time again. I mean, Gamboa reminds me of Roy Jones. During his heyday, it's almost impossible to beat him. But when their talent went away because their reflexes slew down, technically, they are not the best. They make a lot of mistakes. They were relying on a lot of their gifts, and that ended up backfiring for Gamboa and Roy Jones. Obviously, Roy Jones had to move up to heavyweight and lost a lot of weight, and he was already old at the time. And Gamboa, on the other hand, he had to fight out of his natural weight class because nobody was willing to fight him other than Bud Crawford. So if he didn't quit then against Bud, what makes you think he's going to quit now? So I really just can't comprehend where this hate is coming from. However, one thing for sure, Gamboa will always be a champion in our heart. He will always be a living legend, and he is one of the greatest because he's one of the greatest amateur fighters and pro fighters, and especially one of the most gifted ones. Him and rigondeaux, when they were in the Olympics in Cuba, man, that team was unstoppable. So that being said, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't listen to these casual fans. If you want to be part of the Akhi family, then go ahead and click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post or go live on Split Decision. And obviously, if you want to be dripped up like the Akhi be on Split Decision, then go ahead and cop the Akhi merch. So when y'all do call in Split Decision, we're going to announce your record as far as your debates, how many you lost, how many you won, and show a picture of you with the Akhi drip on. So till then, follow Lunatune in the description box below, and next to it you will find the link for the Akhi merch. So go ahead and purchase that. Shout out to DBN, shout out to Dante for starting the new media wave, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi or Akhi TV. Peace, and we out.